we had some top hat schlackings.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But
This game,
based on what you've seen so far, which team has been performing? I guess it would be Viking in that case, but they were lower bracket earlier.
They were lower bracket earlier. I think they have a bit more to prove, and maybe they've been like less burnt out than Alliance. Even though they played all the online tournaments, I think they felt more comfortable.
Spike's going to be there, but he has the Illusory Orb. We'll take some damage in the meantime. As Viking's going to invade the enemy triangle. You can see Kezu on that Timber Saw. We'll talk about the lineups in just a moment. S4 is going to take the second Art Spike of the game now. Arctic Burn to follow Shad. Taking a lot of damage with that Battle Hunger. Illusory Orb's just going to clip him, but he's not going to jaunt to it. Actually, he does. Limp. Has to be careful, though. This is going to be first blood going the way of Viking. Very aggressive play there from Limp. Ends up costing him his life. And I think finally things are going to break up here as we have yet another hook. So many things to talk about this game. If the action could just end, please. Lucent Beam, all right. Oh, a Ravage from Arms. That is, I believe, the third Earth Spike this game.
Yeah, I think Nico Baby's used like 4 beams as well. Yeah. These games are always interesting when you go into lane and you have none of the resources that you should have had. So all the lanes are all different.
They have to all walk back to base.
Yeah, it's really funny. I think I'm surprised that they gave Viking Timbersaw because I think Kezu's looked specifically good on that hero, but also because in both their slackings that they suffered from VP, they gave DM Timbersaw. He just took over the game.
Right.
I will say that this game, it looks like their lineup is a lot better versus Timbersaw than their previous games. Like they actually have conditions to kill him. So maybe they're just going with, it was just some play thing, some lineup thing. We can deal with it if we do it a bit better.
Yeah, they have a ton of magic damage, so that's rule number 1 against Timbersaw, I suppose. We're going to see the Boom versus Limp matchup, Razor versus Puck. Thoughts on this one?
I think Razor wins slightly for the first bit because you don't need to get a big link. Like if you get a link like he has for 9 damage, that just gives you a big enough damage differential that he has to use his nuke for pretty much every CS. However, as the lane goes on, Puck's ability to farm is just better. I think we might see Boom go for more in the plasma field, which will allow him to keep up. Like I saw Nothing to Say at the major, he went like 4-1-1 or something, and he just kept up with Alina.
Yeah, the farm has been pretty crazy on, I mean, Razor's not exactly the type of hero that'd be able to flash farm that easily, but teams have been able to work that out. I forget who it was. They picked up a Midas as like a second item on this hero.
Yeah, that was versus Tundra. Tundra built 3.
Oh, was that the 3 Midas?
Wait, was it actually?
The infamous 3 Midas?
I think it might have been. I'm not too sure.
Well, Fairy Fire is going to be popped here from Viking, so going to have to reset for Armis. But yeah, lineups as a whole, since we didn't really have a chance to talk about it, do you favor any team? Forget about the first blood. I know it's going to be hard to get that out of your mind.
I think in my head, I think Timbersaw is just very good against how Alliance want to play. They like to play a lot of these tanky heroes. There's Lorenov from Gambit who got the Midas on Razor. He looked very good that game.
Thank you, production.
Thank you.
Oh, Kezu gonna take a bushwhack here. Nico Baby, not a whole lot of mana, but gets that wand off. Lucent Beam, not quite enough to take out Kezu with that wand charge. So they have to reset yet again here. All right, we do have to talk about the hero of this game, which has been the hero of every game that has been picked. The Hoodwink.
The Hoodwink. I thought you were going to say Winter Wyvern.
6 total... No, I'm going the opposite route on this one. 6 total kills in 2 games, and they're picking it again. You have to respect the... I don't know what the word is for this, but the stubbornness, I suppose. They really feel like this is...
Belief in your own ideas, right?
Yeah.
Which I think we've seen in Dota can either win you a tournament or it can make you pick Storm in the finals 5 times in a row.
Yes. This has happened before to a nameless team.
Yeah, I don't know who did that.
Yeah.
But it's happened to like everyone in Dota because the game is so complicated. Sometimes you just have to trust your own feelings, and sometimes like the input you get from losing a game doesn't necessarily make you change your opinion, correctly or incorrectly.
Yeah, Celery is going to get dove on by Handskin. Pops the Fairy Fire with the Battle Hunger still applied. Finally wears off, and that last right click is enough for Handskin. But yeah, that's actually a really interesting thing to talk about. Just the idea that just because something doesn't work, like the Hoodwink, like was it really Hoodwink's fault that they got destroyed in those games? Probably not.
It might have contributed, but it's hard to isolate that as an idea.
Exactly. But I will say, and maybe this is incorrect, but position 5 Hoodwink so far throughout this tournament and the major has not looked good. Is position 4, well, other than the tops and mid, I guess.
Yeah.
Position 4 seems to be a little bit more consistent.
It was very good at the major, I'm gonna say. So it's weird because sometimes the things are good or bad at a major don't necessarily translate into the tournament right after as well. It's like hard to draw conclusions. And I mean, if they're picking it this much, I mean, they won the first 2 games on it, right? And they look good on it. Then he got stomped right next to. Like, it's hard to, you're 2-2 with it. It's hard to make a conclusion.
Right.
Sometimes it's just a feeling. Maybe FNG just really likes the hero for himself.
Ooh, Lucent Beam's going to cancel that Timber Chain. Kezu's in a bit of trouble here. Bushwhack is there to finish him off, so nicely done from Alliance.
Yeah, I feel like this is completely different from their... Ooh, is he going to get both water runes? No, they secure with the Lion.
And boom, they get off that plasma field.
This game's completely different than against versus VP. They actually have tools to beat the Timbersaw in lane. In that series, they sort of just gave him a free lane without any real counters and just hope for the best.
All right, we haven't talked about Viking too much, but Shad gets the Ursa pick, which is a hero that was extremely popular pre-major, I want to say, and then not as much during the major. Maybe fell off a bit. Still picked up every now and then. What are your thoughts on the hero right now in this meta?
I think the hero is generally considered very vulnerable in lane. I think specifically, like if you play against EG or one of the like laning focused teams, you can get punished very hard on this hero. And the other thing is his scaling's weird because they're not going for Battle Fury anymore. So he can be a very good tempo hero, and it did show up at the major a few times, but it's a lot less dominant because he just received so many nerfs. Like I think in particular, his Earthshock nerf made his shard worse, which makes him like less of a late game threat.
Still top 5 though.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I don't think
Still top 5. We'll make a list after this event. It's
We'll
gonna
make a
be
list.
no problem. Bushwhack's gonna miss there in this top lane. But yeah, Ursa, I don't know. It's very dependent on getting Roshan. That's always kind of been the case for him. But you're right, the Battle Fury build is kind of gone. The item is kind of dead in general, just on a couple heroes only.
Yeah,
but you're
for
seeing
sure.
like the diffusal like literally every game, which it's looked pretty good. But like if you fall behind, you don't really have any comeback mechanics.
It just feels like if you play against a Luna and you go for Battle Fury, she's still going to out-farm you,
Yeah.
and then you have a Battle Fury. And it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's true. Hanskin forced to dive away. We'll be fine though. And if you look at the early CS, S4 looking to dive potentially, has the Battle Hunger applied to Celery, and actually going to fort the creeps, have the Siege in the vicinity. S4 trying to take out the enemy Siege in the meantime. Looks like he'll be successful.
I'm surprised Celery didn't go for the... Oh, now he takes the Cold Embrace. But usually I see that at level 2 now. It's such an effective heal. It's usually like 150 HP for 50 mana, which is ridiculous.
It feels like that has been the spell of the tournament, if nothing else.
It has looked quite clutch.
And Kezu trying to run away. Nico Bear pops the wand, gets the Lucent Beam off. Bushwhack into the tree. Not quite enough damage.
He cut that with his Coin Blade there. He was dead.
Oh, okay.
He manages to just get the quick fingers on the Acorn shot, and they cut down the tree. But this Timbersaw is getting bullied. He's down 8 CS on the Luna, and it seems like they're constantly pushing him out of lane.
Yeah, that's true. And Luna right now, 33 and 9 CS versus, I mean, you can look on the other side for Ursa, doing a little bit better. But not a huge lead by any means. Of course, like you talked about, Luna, once you go into that jungle with the Moonglaves.
Yeah, I think
control.
the big lane swing is in the middle lane, where Puck has 500 gold on the Razor, despite being close in CS. Oh, that's an impact move.
Yeah, that was really an impact move for sure. Quelling Blade it just seems like such a big counter to Hoodwink.
All right, I said 500, but it's 250.
What do you think?
My education failed me.
That's fine. It's all good. It's NA math. It's all good. What are your thoughts on Bushwhack being canceled when you kill the tree? Heard variant, because Shackle Shot is not that way, so it's a little bit not consistent there.
I don't think it's inherently bad. Like, you can have unique mechanics like that and balance the skill around them, and they might add some depth and flavor. I think the one that's weird is, like, if you get pushed by, like, a Drow Silence, we saw that bottom lane at the tier 1. Like, some ET was diving, he got, like, Bushwhack plus Drow Silence, and he still killed the hero. Because, like, the push pushed him away from the stun.
Right.
But I think that's sort of weird. But, like, these things in Dota, like, they can become really good for the game based on how they're balanced around.
Yeah,
and it doesn't necessarily have to be bad.
It's kind of like a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no, like, definite. As S4 getting pounded upon by Shad. He's going to pop the Enrage. This looks to be a kill going their way. The call does come off, but it's only going to delay the inevitable. So Shad taking his first kill of the game.
That's a huge kill. When you kill the enemy's top net worth like that, you just get a lot of gold. And even more than that, S4 has to TP back to bottom, so it's just a lot of tempo they've gained. There will be no rotations to mid off some like Coil TP.
Yeah, it looks like the mids are pretty even in farm as we talk about it. The Coil is online now, so we'll see if there's going to be a rotation from Alliance anytime soon. Kezu's also level 6, so Chakram good to go. See some stacks in the jungle here, but yeah, Alliance with a 1K net worth lead to start things out. Obviously, way better than yesterday's performance.
Except the game they won.
Again? Well, actually, they were losing.
They were losing quite hard. They were down 5K very early. They came back by being better team fighters.
Yeah, I think it was when VP entered their triangle, if I remember right, and they got a free Omni Slash kill, and Maybe
They killed the Disruptor before he ultied, and then S4 hit the 2-man RP. It looked very smooth.
And anytime you have big team fight ultimates, I mean, on top of that, the Empowered Juggernaut, pretty strong to be able to at least come back and form. As S4 has a nice juicy stack here, has his Vanguard, of course, working on the Blink.
Ooh, I like this. He's triple stacked at 4 to 7 minutes. Oh, that's 9 minutes. I can't read. Again, NA education. But he's going to get all the items here still.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looking very
I can't
strong.
read and I can't see properly. It's a big issue in my life.
That's okay. At least you won TI. You have that going for you, right?
True.
That's forever. Forever your name will be in Dota. How does that feel, Curtis? My voice line won't be in very long, you know?
Yeah.
It's a very small time frame here. As we can see the call onto Shad. Nice blocks by S4, but Enrage is activated from Shad and looks like he's going to be just fine.
Okay, so I like this. So I was wondering how Viking GG were going to put pressure on the map because their Timbersaw was sort of the one getting pressured. Oh, FNG is very high level.
Sharpshooter's actually going to connect onto Kezu. We have a coil onto 2 now. Can he get out? Nice Earth Spike, but here comes Nico, baby, with that Lucent Beam. Kezu takes a tumble. Armis is next, so Alliance doing a great job of defending that tier 1. That's the first coil we see.
Amazing rotation, to be honest. Really good TP. FNG already level 6 before 10 minutes. I think a lot of it was how they played the lane. They sort of stood beside each other and just punched Timbersaw. It resulted in Luna being a little bit lower level, but it results in like much better plays here.
Celery trying to delay this push onto the tier 1, but here comes Hanskin. Nicely done for him to push them out, but we have a rotation from Boom. Has the double damage applied. Static Link. He's going to go for S4 instead. The double TP. Will they be successful? Yes! Out they go. Alliance getting away with murder there.
That's a big, big not dying for the Axe there because he's quite close to his Blink Dagger.
As we see FNG pop that scurry inside the trees. Acorn shot into the Lucent Beam. Bushwhack not going to be there, though. Oh, all right. Sharpshooter has to be one of those most, it feels very good to use. Sometimes it doesn't have the biggest impact, just like the feel of the skill, you know?
There's some skills in Dota that just feel very satisfying. Yeah. Like even like AM's Mana Break.
Oh, yeah.
Like it just feels and sounds nice.
I mean, I think everybody's favorite is Culling Blade.
Oh, yeah,
that's got to be #1.
That's up there.
Double Edge is up there.
No, that's just you. You just like Centaur.
It feels good to have pain inflicted on yourself and others at the same time.
That is the goal of Dota. So
yeah, it's Dota in a nutshell, literally.
So Vikings lineup, like I like them rotating the supports to top. It ends up with them dying, but their lineup is just, it feels awkward to make moves in, right? Like you have Ursa, Timbersaw, Razor. None of them really have stuns. So I don't know how their plan is setting up. I mean, it's like this. If someone walks into them as they're all set up in the trees.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening here. Chakram into the right clicks from Ursa. S4 looks to be mega dead. So Viking finally getting some sort of a value kill, if you want to call it that. Still 2K net worth lead here for Alliance.
I really like this about Viking. Like just their team play in general. I feel like their fundamentals in Dota are very good. I saw their game versus Nigma where they had a Storm mid and they're losing middle. And then they have some hero top. They're losing that lane, but they moved the Storm to the other lane so that instead of losing 2 lanes, 1 second.
Yeah. We're going to see the Finger of Death with Shad making his rotation top, so basically gets him, well, I don't know if he got that first kill, but he gets involved in 2 kills at the very least.
The EXP, he's top net worth now, right? I mean, it's just, Viking, I don't feel like they're ever satisfied with the losing map state, which is what I like in Dota. Like, if something's going wrong, you should do something to change the status quo.
Right, who's happy with a losing state, exactly?
I think there are a lot of teams that happen to from game to game. I don't wanna. I mean, look, like in the group stage at the major, I think TNC game 1 versus EG, they were very satisfied with just losing that game. But like you saw in game 2, like they brought it back.
They're very satisfied.
No, it did look like that. Like they didn't make any moves.
It's just the wording is.
Yeah, maybe it's not the right word. But like game 2, like they completely switched it because they're like probably yelled at each other. And then in game 2, like they made really good moves. I mean, EG still ended up winning game 2. But that was like, they played better than EG that game.
I understand what you mean. S4 showing off the Blink Dagger. It's going to be the initiation as we have a pause so everybody can think about this.
You need to be like
okay, so what happens here exactly?
So he's going to get silenced. Hoodwink should be channeling OT. Yeah, it's right. I think he's dead.
Yeah, he might be able to get his Enrage off.
No, he's going to get silenced. After a pause like this, there's no way, right?
That's true. That's true.
I hope. Cast
69. Okay, very good. 69%.
Because right now you're out-pinging the status bar on the Ursa.
Right.
Like how long the call duration. So if Puck misses this, then
And this is a pretty big deal because not only is he top net worth, but look how close he is to finishing his defusal. So it's going to put him a little bit farther behind now.
Oh, that is a big deal. That would have been a really good timing. Possibly some smoke into kills in Roshan. But now just because you delay this, they're going to be able to like put pressure on the other side of the map. Maybe they'll be even to like rotate to bottom, get the tower before they threaten Roshan.
Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, I think the Waning Rift into the Sharpshooter, and I mean they still have Coil, so yeah, it feels like they're almost certainly going to get this kill. We'll see though. We'll see. All right, Sharpshooter. Oh my, okay.
That was really close.
That was faster than I thought.
He almost lived. He almost got enrage off. That Sharpshooter, like this Hoodwink, does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I can see like why Alliance like the hero. If the map is split a bit.
I'm going to see the Coil finally expend. It's only going to be on the Leon though. That is a kill going the way of Alliance's way, or a kill going Alliance's way again. So a lot of damage for Hoodwink so far this game.
6.3k as a position 5 at 13 minutes. That's a lot of damage.
He's having a lot more impact in this game versus the VP
series. Yeah, he's a very swingy hero. It's sort of like that with burst damage heroes. Like if the enemy is sort of even or behind you and you have burst damage, you can always kill them wherever you go. But if they get ahead, suddenly like your damage runs a bit flat and like you're bursting them to 40% HP. It does nothing on your map. You just die. This is a very swingy hero. It's the same with Skywrath.
Yeah, that's another hero I'd like to see more of, actually. The Skywrath. We were seeing a bit of it when Void was picked up, just for that combo.
At the major. There's a bit. I remember that EG game that ET, Skywrath, and Tiny. They're just blowing people up on the
I love
magic
that
camp. Yeah. They lost, but it looked cool.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you... It's from the viewer perspective, as long as it's cool to watch.
That is why these people play, for the entertainment.
That's how they should be looking at it, for sure. Kezu, in this bot lane, level 9 now, has that hood, going for the casual Sage, which... I feel like if people continue to pick up the casual Sage without upgrading it consistently, then we're going to see more nerfs to this, which I'm hoping we don't see because I'm a big Sage buyer myself.
Is that because you play Centaur?
Yeah, but I don't... I go greedier build on Centaur. Just straight hard, you know?
Straight hard. I also like that build, so I can't comment on it because I know it's wrong, but it's very fun.
Yeah. Shad inside the Roche pit. So looking for the kill onto Roshan himself. I believe he does have the Morbid Mass, so...
They see him.
As long as they can create some space here. Celery with a very early Cold Embrace. He's going to get set up by S4, but here comes Boom to the rescue with the Plasma Field. Seeing the coil onto 3 heroes, but S4 is going to be the first to die. It's only a trade for the support for now, though, as Limp has to dodge out of there. And Viking, full control of this area of the map now.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Looks like he did not opt to actually go. I mean, there is a tree in there constantly, as a Hoodwink can be quite annoying with that little extra vision you get. I mean, that's something we don't really talk about. That does provide some anti-Roche capability for Alliance.
Not just anti-Roshan, but it's really good for dewarding. I think Jenkins has mentioned it a couple times, but since the Sentry range got nerfed, you don't really want to place them on cliffs. They just miss every deward, other than the one on a cliff. So if you can put on a low ground, your 5 has some way to deward, AA, you know, Hoodwink, etc. It feels really nice.
As we can see, Alliance here. This looks to be a free tier 1. Nobody from Viking really in the vicinity.
I'm honestly really surprised at his skill build on FNG. Usually when I see this hero in support positions, they max the Bushwhack.
Yeah, we talked about... So game 1, he did the same build. And then game 3, he went for the Bushwhack max, which is the more common one.
Okay. I know he didn't take Scurry game 1. Like, he didn't have it until level 8.
That's true, too. Yeah.
I didn't quite see what build he went for because I'm stupid and I can't join lobbies.
I think I think game 1, I think specifically was probably for the attempt. Oh, we're going to see a Roche attempt here. Lose Your Orb comes out, but this is going to end up being a freebie for Shad. He has the Aegis in tow. See Kezu getting initiated on. The Eclipse goes out. That's going to be reserved just for the Timber Saw, and the Coil reserved just for the Wyvern. So it's going to be 2 quick kills going the way of Alliance despite losing that Roshan. Nico Baby getting right-click down with that static link applied from Boom, but will this cost him his life? It looks like it will. The call into the chop for S4, so 3 for 2, but Roshan did go Vikings' way, and they still have it.
And they kill both the cores on Alliance. I think overall that's pretty good for Viking. They do use the 9-second BKB. Honestly, I'm surprised that they could take the fight after doing Roshan and fare so well, because they basically traded Timbersaw for the Roshan, and then they took a 2-for-2 fight after.
Yeah, maybe not expecting it to be quite that low, but of course it is an Ursa at the end of the day, as we can see the Intel replay here. Yeah, Boom ends up destroying Nico Baby. Nico Baby probably hoping that the egg would go off just a little bit sooner. That was actually a full 1.5 seconds, though. But pretty close. You see Kezu. Looks like Yules will be on the agenda for him, so the Dispel for Waning Rift.
It's good versus the Axe as well. As long as it's called, you can just lift them up.
Yep.
Also, I've noticed versus Hoodwink, teams have been favoring Yo Scepter a lot. It's a very slippery hero. Sometimes you just want to use him when he's split pushing so you can catch him.
Yeah, he's like a squishier Treant Protector, I guess, in some ways.
With a AoE stun and super high nuke damage.
I mean, Tree has an AoE stun too, right?
It's a fake one. Dispel it.
Yeah, true.
You can also dispel Hoodwinks.
Just eat the tree. Shad, all right. Not a whole lot of mana to speak of. But still the Aegis has the Diffusal and working towards the BKB. As a Sharpshooter will connect, has to pop the Enrage to ensure that he just doesn't waste this. Still 3 minutes left on that second life. As Artemis picks up a Blink Dagger, so perhaps this is when Viking want to have go time. And they have the BKB on Boom, we've already shown that. Is that what they were waiting for, the Blink on Lion, to try to use this Aegis in some sort of fight?
I mean, to be honest, they haven't really got a chance to even try to use it just because right after Roshan was such a long fight, they had to like reset the lanes. Generally, when Roshan dies, the lanes push into your team because you've just been killing this big neutral creep. But now we should see them start to go for moves with it. They have the Blink Dagger, they have the Sonj on Kezus who can effectively frontline.
I actually don't know how to pronounce Sange. We're going to have to get to that. As Hanskin coming in with that Sunray. Look at this damage. S4 initiation with the Nico Baby Eclipse. More than enough to take out Kezu. Boom had to pop his BKB, so now it's down to 7 seconds. Gonna get dove on, but Spirit Vessel applied as well. Has to be careful because S4's in the vicinity. Could get the blink call, but just out of range for him. Lose your orb, not gonna connect as well. Boom doing a good job there as the egg being taken out by Ursa quite easily under the tier 1 tower. Static Link was going for quite a while, but it matters not. S4 able to net the kill onto Boom. I believe he got it with that Battle Hunger, if I'm not mistaken.
That was a very lazy tier 1 push from Viking. Like, you have the Aegis, you have your Blink on Lion, they still just walk up to the front and try to hit it. Like, if you're gonna try something with the timing, you should commit a smoke, you should commit some wards. At least go around on them, try to get a jump.
And now we have a Blink Dagger on Limp. As Shad just wants to finish this tower, knowing that this Aegis is going to be running out in the next minute or so. Sharpshooter connects, but yeah, this should be a free tier 1 for them now that Alliance have kind of expended most of their resources.
And you can do this sort of play where you walk up and hit the tower if you're like that much stronger than them. You know, they have no Eclipse, they have no Egg. They're not even choosing to do it. Sort of surprising. But if you're even strength and you just have an Aegis, like you need to use the Aegis to pierce into them. Use a smoke, place a high ground ward, and like you can jump them. You'll win the fight.
Yeah, it feels like the Aegis hasn't had any kind of an impact. I mean, Alliance has just grown their lead since giving it up.
Honestly, I feel like teams are sort of not...
Scanning.
I don't know, like, I don't know if their Dota theory's bad or like it's changed a bit.
Artemis with a nice Blink Hex. Chakram to follow with a Finger of Death. Not quite enough damage to take out S4. In fact, he's just going to TP out. Perhaps a little bit scared of rotations coming from Alliance, but we can see on the minimap that was not the case. Shad finally takes out this tier 1 tower. Sharpshooter connects, but that's with an enraged target, and Hanskin just gets slapped down. And there's the Aegis, finally down with that bushwhack.
He has no enrage, but it doesn't look like Alliance are in position to do anything with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at Aegis, like in theory, the first Aegis, what it's supposed to give you is a little bit of map control. You can run into areas that you normally wouldn't be able to control. Usually what this translates into is you take a tier 2 and you can take the enemy shrine. The second Aegis is the one where you sort of want to go high ground on. But I feel like I've seen a lot of Aegises either die alone or not been used at the front of their team. And what this results in is you don't get the same sort of map control from the first Aegis, so the second Aegis also becomes less impactful. I think it was very prevalent in the Quincy T1 series. Like, they took the first 2 Aegises and they didn't use it to push forward on the map at all.
Yeah,
as a result,
fair.
like, they lost net worth while having Aegises, which fundamentally is just incorrect in Dota.
I think in that series, though, I mean, yeah, you could look at it either way, but I feel like T1 just played really well.
You can play really well, but, like, if they're playing at an appropriate level, like, they just have more resources than you. They should be able to push you back. Like, from a resource standpoint, like, they just have an extra life, right? An extra hero. You can't outplay that unless they're messing up as well.
All right, we have a smoke from each respective team. Doesn't look like they're going to run into each other. There is a double damage bot that they might fight over here. Looks like Shad should be able to get it, though. Although, no, Limp jumps in and takes it himself. S4 with the initiation, bushwhack to follow. The cold embrace, but that sets up the sharpshooter into the coil. Look how low he's getting. He has to pop his BKB. And now that he's already used most of his resources, still has his ult, but I feel like Viking just need to back out now.
They need to run. They're going to get caught here.
S4, Eclipse. Nicely done. Kezu taking so much damage, but Timber chains away. We can see on the back line, though, the Wyvern, Celery, getting bursted as well, but still no deaths in this engagement. And here come the heals. Yep, Holy Locket and the talent. All right, so good game.
I mean, it's going to heal a lot, but to be honest, that fight looked pretty good for Alliance, right? Like, they managed to make the Ursa pop the BKB. Sort of, you could see, like, if they don't get a clear jump with the Lion on Vikings lineup, it's hard for them to take these engages. Ooh, they know where Phoenix is. They might catch him.
Miss. Ooh, not quite. Hanskin with 0 charges on the Spirit Vessel right now.
Honestly, felt a bit weird. Lion just stunned the fog. He had a Blink Dagger. But, you know, you don't see him, so it's hard to go for, like, the blind jumps.
Yeah.
Those are sort of plays, though. I feel like you might as well try, you know? It's, like, very low risk. It happens, though. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in Dota, and it's easy to, like, commentate, like, some perfect play, but it's way harder to do when you're actually playing the game. You have to, like, keep up calm to worry about a billion things and what your opponents are doing.
Yep. I mean, we talked about this yesterday, but well, not to bring up that video again.
Okay, it's called the selective attention test.
Oh,
I know the real name now. Yes,
okay.
my friend messaged me. Nice. She said I was very stupid, and this is what it's called.
I'm sure they did not.
So everyone, Google the selective attention test in case you're wondering why some pros don't do some small things. There's just too much to focus on in Dota.
That video actually blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I feel like such an idiot.
You learned that you can't count or follow the videos. So.
That's true. I did everything wrong in the video. It's NA math again at its best.
No, our education system has failed us. It's not our fault.
That's true.
So they have the blink on Ursa, so they finally have a core that can sort of engage. I think that's very important for them, because if you're the sole initiator on some line, it doesn't feel comfortable going in. No one will ever give you like the vision and space.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very late Roche. Close to max time here. As Shad, like you said, with the Blink Dagger, so has the slow with the Diffusal, can set up on somebody. Let's see if they can actually, I mean, a lot of this feels like it's predicated on the Lion actually getting the Blink initiation off.
Yeah,
for sure. You do have counter initiation with Wyvern as long as the positioning is correct.
Yeah, on the side of Alliance, you don't, like if there's an enraged Ursa hitting someone, you don't have that much to save them. You can pop some call or some stuns, but he has a lot of stats resist. So this game, as most games in Dota do, will come a lot down to who gets a better jump, which is why Limp, as you can see, he's gone for the Aeon Disc. So it counters that jump.
Yep, the classic item of this tournament. Everybody seems to be going for it.
Also going for Aeon Disc.
Feels like if you're not going for it, you're doing something wrong these days.
It felt that the mid.
Ooh, they're actually going to catch Limp, but there's the Aeon Disc like you talked about. Gets the coil off. Will he get bursted down in turn, though? Trying to get healed in the meantime. Damage to Kezu as well. They might be able to turn this around. The coil with the BKB on Nico, baby. Able to take out one. Kezu getting healed for now. Now the egg placed in really good spot. That won't be able to kill that for sure. Kezu takes the tunnel with a buyback onto Aramis. Will he be able to get back here in time, though? Shad just getting pressured out, or to use his Enrage. Moonglave's trying to catch him. Triple kill on Nico, baby, now going absolute ham right now. And Alliance looking very strong in this fight. Multiple buybacks for Viking, and they lost this fight pretty handily.
It's just really well played by Limp there. He knew exactly his limits. He just pushed them, gets to bait a fight with Andis, and I mean, that's how it feels as Lion, right? If you jump in, your target doesn't die, you're dead. Like, they will just kill you.
Yeah, this is the Aeon Disc. Of course, I think he had just bought it, right? So they didn't even know he had
it. Yeah, I don't think they managed to click him there.
So the counter plays were pretty hard to at least coordinate on a competitive level.
I gotta say, I'm impressed by how much better Alliance is dealing with Timbersaw just over the course of one day. That's a weird thing with like metas and heroes with pro teams, is that they'll learn how to counter a hero very fast, or at least they'll come up with an idea, right?
Right.
Sometimes like we saw them give VP the Timbersaw twice. And maybe it seems silly to give it to them in game 3, but maybe throw that, you know, they had an idea of how to beat it on the game 3. It didn't work, but this time it's working a lot better.
Yeah, Shad hoping that the Roche was spawned, but we can see that it won't be for another few seconds. Pretty close, though.
I feel like Viking are feeling very pressured right now. They're constantly going for these aggressive plays, and they're losing. It's because they're losing net worth on the map, just versus Puck Luna cores.
At least they're recognizing it, though, right?
Yeah, I do like that. Like, they're not happy. If someone's farming more than you, then let's do something to change it.
Yeah, Shad in the pit. Alliance knows that this is happening. S4 actually jumps in, gets bashed by Roche. This actually might cost him his life. Indeed, it does.
No buyback.
My goodness, 50 seconds on the deck. Sharpshooter does technically connect here, but no follow-up for Alliance.
Wow, Viking are really good with 6th man.
And this is the second Roche. We've talked about it so many times. Aegis Cheese Shard, which will go on Ursa. Top 5 shard.
It should, I think. I think shards generally, you should give it to one of your higher net worth cores. It just sort of amplifies their power.
Boom, that bash from Roche. Big time play right there.
Good on Armis to
Roche,
like react to it too, right? Like chaining the stun.
Yeah, he actually stutter stepped for a second, like, oh, thanks, Roche. Jad looking for connection here. We can see this Bushwhack actually does connect. Armis is already dead. Now the Eclipse is there. Don't think that Viking want to go high ground now, as that's technically a dieback on the Lion, as Kezu just getting pressured. But there's the heal. Back to full HP we go. Definitely normal occurrence here.
Nothing more.
They want to bring him on their team. Looks like Alliance trying to convert.
You know, maybe they should give the shard to the Winter Wyvern.
That's true, actually.
Minus 5 seconds on the heal. It's a 1200 range Splinter Blast. I don't think people... I didn't know that, so I'm assuming... Well, people probably know, but I didn't know it. It's 1200 range. It's not a normal
I didn't know
one.
it was 1200 range. That's true. But yeah, the cooldown, I mean, that...
It's a good shard.
Yeah.
It might be better than Ursus. It might be top 4.
Okay, but that's because Wyvern is imbalanced right now. Okay.
I mean, your tier list sucks. The criteria is bad.
Well, first and foremost, you, me, and Jenkins are making the tier list.
Yes, we are.
You've already,
We're going to have
in
some
blood.
fisticuffs.
Yes. So,
I already made a blood pact with the Arkosh gaming people.
That's not true. I heard that was just a rumor.
Yeah, it's a rumor. I don't know how to call it.
It's a different AUI. AUI 3000. All right, Quickening Charm on Razor, we can see here. So, yeah, Boom with the Lotus Orb, has the Sange.
Wait, Boom with the Lotus Orb? Kezu?
Oh, sorry, I'm definitely on the run. It's really hard when you don't have control of your
But again, that's because we don't know how to read, so we can't join the lobby.
It's difficult. We apologize.
It is our fault. Sorry, all viewers.
Sorry for the subpar casting, guys. It's just because we're not in the lobby, right?
Yeah, that's why.
And we can see, it's interesting because just by killing Lion there, because of that dieback, that gives up the potential Viking second Roche when they had the S4 down, right? So they had the 5v4
No, he's
advantage.
very important for the fight, and you can see he's going for his own A on this, because every time he jumps, like, he instantly gets focused.
By Roshan.
Yeah, by Roshan. They don't mind blowing a coil, eclipse, whatever it takes. You kill this Lion, the fight's going to be super easy.
S4 has vision here.
Ooh.
Plasma Field comes out, but he'll blink out in time.
That's a Razor ulti, though. Underrated spell for the fights.
Yep, true. Nico Baby, he's basically front-lining right now. Bushwhack does connect with the Wild Wing ripping right into Boom. Half HP, Sharpshooter's going to be missed because of the BKB pop into the Lotus Orb for Boom, but he's just getting pressured now. S4 jumps in with the Berserker's Call, but there's the heal and the curse from Wyvern. Will it be enough to save Boom? Doesn't look like it. Gets chopped down into the earth. Coil onto Wyvern. No more heals for you. Alliance is sick and tired of this hero, as 3 dead for Viking, and this should set up a free Roche for Alliance.
Yeah, I think Alliance they should be feeling very good about this game. And the fight for Viking, they're just very awkward, you know? They're running in 1 by 1 through a ward up the hill. They sort of spread into single file, and you can cast your spells very easily like that because you have the concave on them.
All right, well, this is... Who gets the shard? I think Phoenix shard is really good, but it's a support, obviously.
The thing about giving support shard is like...
I know you're not a big fan, even though you
play support. Supports don't matter in Dota. Like, their lives are meaningless, so you should just power up your strong Chad cores.
I mean, the Luna shard's pretty good, and obviously Axe, we've seen it so many times. Well, I don't know if he's even going for that build, so it might not matter. As we see this this replay here. Yeah, quick 1 for 3 turnaround here.
Right, so who took the shard?
Okay, so S4 is going for the regular blade mail build.
So Luna takes it?
Yeah, so you get the Lucent Beam being able to be cast on the ground. You get the little Moonglaive action.
It's very good.
Pretty good.
It is very good.
Not top 5, but pretty
good. It might be top 5.
No. You know, it's funny because I get these comments all the time that I think like 15, 20 items are top 5, when in fact I literally only say Ursa is top 5. I've just said it so many times that people forget it's the same one every time.
Like, people aren't listening to you, so it's hard to differentiate between the words.
Yeah. So you can relate now to Sinner because it's basically like 2 people solo cast. We don't listen to each other at all.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty.
Just like playing Dota, it's 5 individual players with no teamwork.
Yeah. TI winner right here, guys. Learn from the best. All right, so tier 2 tower down for Alliance. They have the Aegis, obviously, and the Cheese, and a 13K net worth lead. So they are almost certainly here in the driver's seat.
And then
Yeah,
he's
they can
gone
try.
for the Desolator. I like that. Whenever you play with Luna, I don't think you should be relying on her to solo carry the game, even if she has super high net worth.
Oh my, Lucent Beam into the Sharpshooter and the Illusory Orb. Aramis dies in the backline. 50 seconds, no buyback for him. Nico Baby with that Lotus Orb applied. And the heals from Handskin. I guess they have heals of their own.
Yes, and I will say, I think if you pick Wyvern first too, you should ban Phoenix. Just counters everything that Wyvern wants to do. You ult damage a heal, you have your own heal, and most importantly, fight.
Yeah, we have the call in. That Cold Embrace onto Boom. He's going to be at full HP, but the coil onto 2 in the back line. Limp and company doing work here. Kezu looks like he might survive, and Nico Baby getting quite low. Of course, still has that Aegis, and like I said, with that push potential now coming from Alliance, should be able to get this Rax pretty cleanly.
I think that Desolator on Limp was a really good option. Anyways, back to the Phoenix. I think what counters Winter Wyvern in my head is heroes that, like if you heal someone, they're stunned for 4 seconds, even though they're healing a lot. So if you can create a scenario where when they come out of that heal, even if they're full HP, they feel bad, like they're on top of a Phoenix Egg, for example, then all of a sudden a lot of the heal's utility is minimalized,
Yeah,
whatever.
It gets even worse when like Handskin here has shards, so you can use the Sunray while
Exactly,
in eggs.
yeah.
You just do both simultaneously. So yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Like if Undying was a good hero, like he'd be really good, right? Because you go into the Code Embrace and then there's 3 extra zombies on you and your
Yeah.
team's running away. Things like that. Pit Lord, Phoenix.
Undying just had any mid-game or late-game potential at all.
Yeah.
Sad times for him.
It's a
It's been a
sad
sad
little
10
zombie.
years, really, if we're being honest.
I mean, that hero is broken. What was it? Chengdu Major, whatever that was.
Very
last year.
brief life for
December.
Mr. Undying. Yeah, that hero's a mess, to say the least. As I believe a nullifier was being built on Ursa, so that is to counter the Eon discs here. So to be able to dispel that constantly, that is the hard counter. The problem is Eon disc is just so much cheaper.
It is.
Like, I mean, nullifier is a good item. I think it's underpicked, but right now it's only picked because of Eon disc. Would you agree with that? And I guess Ghost Scepter.
Yeah, generally, yeah. I think it's undervalued for what it does. Like, for example, if you put Nullifier on the Ursa, he becomes a creep. Like, you can't use Overpower, right? Like, there are scenarios where that item is very underrated. The stats are good, but they're awkward stats. They don't give you, like, HP or attack speed.
Yeah, it's basically, I mean, 80 damage, only carries are
But
built.
I think it's underrated. I saw, was it LGD? It might have been Faith Beyond who built a Nullifier on, like, the 3, and it looked really good.
Oh, is that the major?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. I might just be talking completely out of my ass.
Probably didn't even happen. As we have FNG die on the sidelines here, so only a 5v4. Still with the Aegis, though, but less than a minute. The question is, do they actually want to fight without FNG? How important do they think Hoodwink is in these?
It's important. You still want to pressure this Aegis, but I think when the Aegis are like 20 seconds, you want to start getting back. I've seen Viking make the play where they tail the Aegis and they kill them right as it pops, because he's very good with his timers.
Were you, for EG, were you the timer?
I
timer
have
guy?
a mental block where, because I can't read, I can't write down the timers.
Okay.
It's very bad.
So when you say you can't read, it's just like dyslexia or something
No,
like that?
I can read. I just,
Because when you were on the podcast, you read just fine, I thought.
no, I can read fine. I'm just.
Yeah, where does this
spouting
meme come
memes.
from exactly?
I don't know. One of my friends, he has like several advanced degrees, you know, and he just
so
likes
compared
to
to
say,
a very smart friend.
yeah, he just likes to say he can't read. He just memorized how a bunch of words look, and he's very stupid at Dota, so I believe him.
Oh, okay, I see. And we see Boom now with the Assault Cuirass. And, yeah, Kezu, I mean, he's pretty farmed overall. Going for the BKB next, but might not live to see it, as this is growing into a gigantic advantage for Alliance. It's 17k right now. Now, if you're in Alliance position, obviously they don't know how much exactly that they're up by, but they know that they're up. Do you wait for third Roche? Is it just like this disciplined play where kind of methodical in nature, but it's the higher percentage play?
Yeah, I think you should wait for third Roche, but you shouldn't give the enemy team too much respect. Like, you should still control areas and prevent them from farming. The worst thing they can do is, like, let Viking get a map state where before Roshan spawns, they can, like, force a bad TP and then take a 5v4. Like, that's what you want to avoid when you're ahead. So I would like to see them maybe put some wards in enemy triangle, maybe put some lane wards to make the enemy team unable to get out of base. Just farm your 37-minute items, make sure they can't farm their 37-minute items, and then you'll be good to go.
S4 still has the cheese right now, as we have a butterfly now.
Ooh, I like this a lot. They stacked up the Ancients so that they could get all those tier 4 items.
Yeah.
It's a big difference, like having one set of neutral items.
Especially when you get to the tier 4s for sure.
Yeah.
We're seeing Celery getting destroyed here. Cold Embrace.
First
Not
time we've
enough.
seen someone die in Cold Embrace.
That's true, literally.
Yeah, pick Phoenix versus Winter Wyvern.
I guess
it's a
so.
good counter.
Yeah. You see the level 25 now on Puck, so look at this damage. Daedalus, Witchblade, Desolator, disgusting build as Kazu gets Lucent Beamed out of the Timber Chain and into the Bushwhack, and choppity chop from Mr. S4 has the BKB activated, and this should create enough space for them to at least poke at the high ground. We can see that buybacks are there for Viking, though.
Just ran a lap in the Radiant base.
Radiant's middle tower.
But this is what I mean. Alliance are doing a really good job here. Because every time Viking, they sort of disrespect their map control, they go and they punish the... Oh my
Oh
god.
my god, Limp. Yundis is popped, though. That might be the biggest deal here. Might have to blink out. And he's out of there. But this will create enough space for them to get at least this tower. We can see the buyback is available for Kez. It's 45 seconds. I feel like... Okay,
Luna with
too
the
late.
tower down.
Yeah,
You
too
can't
late.
fight into it.
Radiant's middle.
So that's going to be the second racks now for Alliance as they have mounted a 22k net worth lead as Celery takes a tumble, has to buy back along with Kezu. You can see the Lion Aramis dying as well as now the Eclipse comes through, but a big wave to actually tank up a lot of it. Manta pop from Nico Baby, getting a lot of damage stolen, but in the meantime you have the Egg low ground with that Sunray. Forces everybody from Viking back for now, so Alliance can just reset. They basically get that second racks for 3 buybacks.
Yeah.
It's an
The
amazing
bonus
trade for
buybacks.
Alliance. 2 buybacks, yeah. And they're still having this tier 4 item advantage as well. I don't think Viking has 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think they have any items. They haven't been able to push out their base at all. They are coming up into their own triangle just because they know that Luna has no BKB. I think they should have a read that if Alliance get the next Aegis, the game's over. And if Viking get the next Aegis, there's like a sliver of hope, but it's probably still over, but it's like the only chance you have. Nico Baby is about to finish off a Satanic.
Flicker picked up for Alliance. I don't think anybody's actually using it. We've talked about this item very...
Yeah, Nico Baby should take it. It's the best item.
It is the best tier 4 item, right?
I think it's by
The
far.
best.
Yeah, he took it. You can blink out the Link. He can blink away from the Ursa.
And you
it's
kind of
super
can
broken.
replace boots to some degree.
Yes,
Give
for
some
sure.
movement speed. Yeah, it's way too strong. As Kezu's going to get caught out. This will be a dieback if he's not careful. Sharpshooter's there. Into the Sunray. Looks like he's getting healed up a bit, though. Timber chains away to safety. Nico Baby with the Lotus Overapplied Shad now on the run. Already enraged. Already popped the BKB. He can't help out in this fight, but they might be able to turn this around with that static link. And BKB on boom, but the Satanic from Nico Baby. Not a whole lot of damage because of the damage stolen, but they have enough damage in numbers. And this should be GG as Alliance absolutely destroying Viking in this game.